funny things that happen on the road. Well, we were going across the border to play Canada, and we were in North Dakota. This is before I found out half my band couldn't make it across the border for various reasons. So the homewrecker band was divided in half when we passed, but before we passed, we were coming back from, I believe it was Cooperstown, North Dakota, I believe that was. Had a good time there. And one of the boys says, "Hey Joe, the shitter's not working." So I went back there and took a look at it, and it was not overflowing, but it was pretty close to it. And I said, "Well, we got to probably empty the tank." So we pulled the bus over, and I wanted to inspect the tank there and dump the black water tank. You got the gray water and you got the black water. Gray water is the hand wash, the black water is what comes out your dumper. And that's what goes in the black water tank. Not good stuff. And of course you got the fresh water too that you make coffee out of. Don't get them mixed up. So we opened up the bay where the black water tank is, and we hooked the hose up. It's probably about a 2-3 minute ordeal. Big flexible hose, and we laid it somewhere on the side of the road, way off the road, where some farmer needed some fertilization that we figured he did. And we opened up the thing, and a couple of the guys were smoking some cigarettes, and we were waiting for the water tank to empty, and I figured, well, that's about right, about time. So I shut the valve off, and I went to collect the hose, and usually you shake the hose off to get all the stuff out of the hose. And I noticed there was nothing coming out of the hose, and there was nothing where the end of the hose was. So what the heck? So I opened up the shit tank, and I looked in there with a flashlight, and staring me in the face were just a whole bunch of frozen turds. So I just told the guys, I said, well, let's bail out that toilet, throw it outside, and just don't use the crapper. Well, anyways, we did finally make it across the border, most of us, and we did our tour. And luckily, we were set up in a lot of hotels, and so we never really had to use the bus except for going between shows, maybe 4 or 5 hours between, except for Fort McMurray, which is like a 16, 18-hour drive. That's another story. But anyways, we did the tour. We ended up in Medicine Hat, Alberta, and didn't think anything of it. We played the show. We had 2 days to get to Cheyenne, Wyoming to do another show. And so we got in the bus, we went to Cheyenne, and we stopped at a couple truck stops here and there, and didn't think nothing of it. We got to Cheyenne and checked in the hotel, which is right next to the venue, and went to sleep. Drove for quite some time, so I wanted to sleep. And so I laid down for about 2 hours, and all of a sudden I get a frantic knock on the door, and here's this little sawed-off Oriental guy knocking on my door, and he was throwing a fit in a language I never even dreamt of, and I didn't know what he was saying, but he was pointing down, and I looked down there, and there's the big blue tour bus, and it is surrounded by about 50 yards. It looked like a weather map of like a bad storm around my bus, and it was nothing but thawed out turds. And did it smell? Well, everybody was complaining about it, and he was mad. And I could see why he would be mad. Did you ever spill like water or oil on a piece of cement? And it's only a couple ounces of oil, but it's like that big, and it looks like, or you cut yourself, or you shoot a deer, and the blood's all over the place, and it just makes a big mess. Just a little bit of oil makes a big spot. This was like 40 gallons of turd juice, and let me tell you, did it stink? So. Yeah, I spent about 6 hours cleaning that one up there, and we were never asked back. Kind of shitty.